Right now, we do got 74% of the chat room at this time. All right, traders, we are live and back. All right, guys. So let's see where we are at. Do you guys like this awful Photoshop at this moment? I do have to just throw out there. We got some below par Photoshop at this time, but we do have, is Tesla going to spike or crash? Everyone cast your vote if you guys have not. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stop the poll at this time. We do see at this moment 74% of the chat room, 74% of the chat room says that Tesla is going to spike on up. All right. Now, this is definitely interesting right now. We do have Wall Street saying that they expect Tesla to be bullish. We are also seeing that the chat room expects Tesla to be bullish. Worst case scenario is obviously something like Netflix happens. Worst case scenario is obviously we see a huge drop, we see a huge crash, we see this entire stock just come falling apart, and that's never what we want. We never want to see a drop like this. We don't want to see, again, Tesla, fall apart $115 on the day. Now, you have to make a decision right here, traders. That's very big. You have to start thinking about yourself. Start thinking about your account size. Start asking yourself this very important question, which is, what are you going to do? Are you going to place a buy order right now? Are you going to jump in on an options trade right now? Are you going to go ahead and short Tesla right now? Are you going to go ahead and, do a straddle, right? Let's talk about the different ways you could trade the stock today. Let's talk about the different ways you can get involved in these plays. Let's make sure that every single trader is ready to rock and roll. All right? So, what can you do on Tesla right now? What can you do on the stock? The different strategies. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but let's just review this to make sure every single trader is ready to rock. Let's say the day is about to end right now. All right? We got about 10 minutes left. Tesla, few different ways that you guys can trade this play. Number one, you guys can jump in with options. If you guys want to head on over to your broker right now, you can head on over towards, let's just grab E-Trade. E-Trade, you can go to options. You can type in Tesla. You can pick how many contracts you want. Tesla is a little bit more expensive, so you could do 1, 2, 3, 4 different contracts if you wanted to. If you think Tesla is going to spike, if you think Tesla is going to rise, if you think Tesla is going to rip and run tonight and do, let's say, something like Netflix did, a $100 spike, what type of contract would you want here? Well, let's just say you want to do 4 contracts. If you think Tesla is going to go up, you want to do a call. Expiration, right now you can do April 22nd, April 29th. This depends on how long you want to hold it, okay? Right now it's April 20th. If you honestly just believe, hey, Deck, I just want to do a in and out type of trade, I just want to hold it tonight, you could do April 22nd, but that would be a little bit closer. I would probably do an April 29th and do a strike price. If you believe it's going to go on up, I would do a strike price probably right around $9.90 or $9.95. Because once you get above $9.95, which a good earnings would happen, this one could blast on off. Take a look at, again, Tesla's chart. Tesla's chart, remember, if we put a strike price really far away from the current entry, our premium is going to be very low. But the thing is, we need to start getting above that strike price to really start making that big time profit. So when we, again, take a look at Tesla, what would be the best case scenario? Best case scenario is Tesla comes out with an awesome earnings. And you know what happens? It runs all the way back on up towards its old downtrend. This is the downtrend area. This is where traders want to eventually see a break. This is where traders want to see this play go on a rip and run back to this downtrend and spike back up to 1,200. I think if this has the best earnings in the world, it'll run back up towards, again, like 1,150. If it has a normal, just good earnings, I think it could get up to 1,050. I would say watch for it to get up to where it was yesterday, maybe even a little bit above that by tomorrow, 1,060, 1,070. Do I think we're going to go all the way up to 1,200? I don't. Do we think we're going to go all the way up to 1,100? I don't. So if you are looking to do an option and you believe that this is going to be going on up, what I think would be the smartest and best thing to do is still be realistic. Put in the contracts that you can afford, put it for an expiration date. You can do April 22nd, but you would have to get out of that tomorrow or Friday morning. And I would say put a strike price around $9.95. It would lower again the premium a little bit, but still makes it realistic where you can go ahead and make some nice money. If you believe Tesla is going to drop and fall, and there is always a lot more room. When there is so much bullishness, right? When there is so much bullishness in chat, bullishness among Wall Street, bullishness among investors. And again, I even got to be careful talking about bearishness on Tesla, because so many people would come at me saying Tesla will never go bearish, right? And I'm not saying it's going to fall apart, but if it does say it has a missed earnings report, guess what? Stocks fall faster than they rise on up. And it's like, Deck, what do you mean by that? Does anyone understand that concept? Does anyone understand what I mean when I say stocks fall faster than what they do when they rise on up? Right now, Wall Street is expecting Tesla to have a good earnings. Right now, we are expecting Tesla to have a good earnings. We are all saying to ourselves, hey, yeah, Tesla's probably going to shoot back up above $1,000. But if Tesla doesn't come out with an earnings and surprises the world, surprises us, surprises Wall Street, surprises traders, surprises investors, and they come out with bad earnings, the stock would probably drop a lot harder than if it had good earnings and spiked on up. So essentially, I think Tesla this afternoon could spike about $75 to $80 on the upside. If Tesla came out with bad earnings, I think Tesla could drop $150 like Netflix. So I still think there's a lot of opportunity to run, but if they shock the world coming out with bad earnings, there's more opportunity for the stock to fall. Surprises always lead to more of a dramatic effect. If everyone's already expecting positivity, if there is negativity, that's where we start to see bigger drops. Okay? Now, let's see what else we have here. So if you guys want to, if you believe it's going to fall, you would do a put contract. Do a put contract, you can go down towards, if you want to, $9.50. Right? $9.50, it'll keep your premium somewhat, again, bearable. And if it is a bad earnings, you are definitely going to go underneath that $9.50 mark. You'd probably crack down to the $9.30, maybe even all the way back down to $900. So Tesla, that definitely has a lot of room to drop if it's bad. Remember, traders, I'm being transparent with you. I'm being straight up with you. I don't know if Tesla is going to have a good earnings or a bad earnings. And anyone who tells you they know the answer is blatantly lying. The only people who know if they're going to have a good earnings or bad earnings is Elon Musk and maybe Elon Musk's close buddies. Other than that, it's a 50-50 shot. So what is a strategy that you guys can do? Of course, what you guys can do is you can go ahead and straddle. And what we mean by straddle is you can do it with options. And we have talked about it with options, which is buying a call and buying a put and then selling it the next day, whichever way is the correct way. So for instance, team, how many people straddled Netflix last night? And straddling is a great way to go ahead and be able to make some money. So if you guys, again, straddled Netflix last night, and let's go over towards Netflix, what essentially that you guys did is traders put in a call option, which they believed it was going to go up, and they put in a put option, which made them believe that the stock was going to fall on down. Now, you made money as Netflix dropped, and you lost money as, of course, Netflix dropped, which made it, again, perfectly equal. But the next day, right, you can get out of your call position and you can make money as the stock drops on down and you already have a position way up high. So it is a good strategy, but you miss out on most of the profit. And what do I mean by that is you miss out on the entire $100 drop that happened overnight. So if you want to take a 50-50, you can go ahead and say, hey, I'm just going to go long on Tesla here, or I'm just going to go short on Tesla. What I think is a little bit better than doing options, if you guys want to do a 50-50 on options and have a small account, that is best, right? You can make a ton of money using options. But if you guys do shares, doing shares, even if you can only afford, let's say, a few shares on Tesla, right? Even if you guys can only afford a few shares on Tesla tonight, but that's what you guys are interested on, it's nice that you can get out of it in after hours. So let's say you have a normal account size, right? Let's just say you can afford 10 shares going on up and you can afford 10 shares if this is going on down. So you can afford 20 shares total on Tesla and adjust this to your trading. Maybe you can only afford 5 shares. Maybe you can only afford, 4 shares on each side, whatever it may be. Maybe even only 2 shares, right? But the thing is, if you buy Tesla right now with, let's say, 10 shares, we'll make it easy, and you short right now with Tesla 10 shares, what can you do? Well, in after hours, you can't get in or out with options. But in after hours, you can do it with shares. So if all of a sudden, right when this opens, and we'll let you guys know what the earnings report is, right when this opens on up, if Tesla comes out with the worst earnings report it ever had, the moment that you read that, the moment that this starts turning, guess what you do? All you have to do is sell this one. Get rid of this one. Take your loss. It's going to be like $500 loss. But you know what? Since you're shorting this play as well, you are going to make probably again somewhere around $4,000 in profit. So yes, you will take a loss on one of the two, but that loss is going to get made up by the profit that you make. Same exact thing if it did the opposite way. Let's say all of a sudden you have 10 shares right now on the long side and 10 shares on the short side. If they come out and say, hey, we just broke records, Tesla would go flying up in the air. And all you have to do is be ready for that opposite way. So again, if all of a sudden Tesla has breaking earnings, sell the short or cover the short immediately with those 10 shares. You will take a loss of, again, about $500 or so, depending on how many shares, and then just ride up the other shares. And even if you lose $500 right here, you're going to make like $4,000 here. And you know what? You're still going to end up with a nice $3,500 profit, because as long as you cut out this other position, you are going to be absolutely fine. So there are a few ways, of course, that you guys can be trading this. You guys can do an option trade right now, and that you can make that either straddle and get out the next day. You will miss the bulk of the move. Or you guys can do a option trade where you truly just do a 50-50, which is very risky, but can pay out huge. You can also, again, do shares where you can do both sides, a straddle, and whichever way is the opposite way, get out of that trade. Or the last thing that you guys can do if you want to do shares is you can just wait for the earnings to come out. You know, if we take a look at Netflix yesterday, if you guys want to do shares, is Netflix yesterday came out with a bad earnings report, and the stock dropped a ton. The first 5 minutes are the most crucial, though. Look at the first 5 minutes. 350 down to 285. 5 minutes later, 278. 15 minutes later, 268. If you are not in within the first 20 minutes, that means if an earnings report comes out at 4 o'clock and you are not in by 4:20, you basically miss the bulk of the move that day. Now, the next morning, there's always going to be a lot of hype. There's always going to be a lot of attention. But you guys have right now 45 seconds left. You guys have 45 seconds right now to decide and debate what you want to do. Now, remember, traders, if you do not want to gamble, if you do not feel comfortable, if you do not want to take that risk, get your finger off that trigger right now. Take a step back. Just enjoy the show, right? If you are feeling like, hey, Deck, I have no idea. I have $4,000 in my account. I don't want to lose it all. I want to make a lot of money, but I don't want to lose it. I'm not willing to lose it. Hey, you got Apple, you got Google, you got Microsoft, you got PayPal, you got so many different earnings coming on up. Do not have the urge to gamble, all right? So let's see what's going to be coming on up. Let's see what stock's going to be coming on up on that next rip and run over on Netflix. And here we go, guys. It is now 4 o'clock. It is now 4 o'clock. We've gone over a few different strategies that you guys can do. Let me ask the chat room right now. How many of you guys used your small accounts and you guys got in on some options? Is there any traders here that went on the options? Let me see it, team. What are you guys thinking? Option-wise, up or down? Over for options. Where are we at here, traders? Or how many people are long? How many people are short? I just want to see where we're at over in chat right now. Right now, we got some good action. I threw on the YouTube live stream as well. Shout out to you guys over on YouTube. We got some options, call options, call options, call options, up, long, call options, waiting, call options, call options. Woo! Traders! It looks like right now everyone is going call options on this play. Call options on this play over on Tesla. All right, team, let's put it on over. Tesla. We got it. Let's do this, baby. Let's do this, baby.
Elon Musk. Musk. Will you prepare? Prepare. Prepare for glory, for destiny, for love, 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 love.
Let's get after it, traders. I want to see what's going to happen here over on Tesla. Team, the moment we see it, the moment we'll get after it here. Tesla is on a 1 minute time frame at this moment. Let's see where this hype's going to be going towards. Tesla. I know a lot of people also say what at this time, right? A lot of people are always saying, hey, if Tesla came out with, Tesla was dropping throughout the day, that means it's going to come out with bad earnings. That does not mean anything. Just a little sign of team. I had a lot of people tell me that, oh, Deck, Tesla had a big red day before earnings. That means everyone's selling on the inside before earnings. I like the thought process, but let's compare that to what we saw yesterday on Netflix. If that's the thought process, if that's, again, how we're going to judge off earnings, Netflix rose $50. Netflix went from $330, spiked all the way up to $360, and then it dropped $115 today. So that's not a good way to judge off of it. Now, if you guys have, of course, your, if you guys are in right now and you guys are using options, I know you guys are basically in, you're set, you're stuck, and let's see which way this is going to go. If you guys are on shares right now, this is how you guys want to make sure that you are getting in and out of this play. Just a little heads up for every single trader at this moment. If you guys are in on shares, I went over the strategy on how you guys can get in or out of plays, or went over the strategy where you guys can go long and short at the same time and just cancel the opposite way. If I were you, this is how I would do it. Have Tesla right now. Type out on Tesla how many ever shares you have. Let's go 10 shares. If you really believe that Tesla is going to go up, make sure that you're ready to get out of your short position right away. So go to ARCA, which means, again, you can get out in pre-market. And what you guys are going to want to do, if this comes out with a positive earnings report, just right now, put in a price of, $9.95. $9.95. This way, if you need to cover your short position, if the stock starts rising in a very quick manner, or even if, let's say, you're shorting it, just blatantly just shorting it, and you want to get out right away, put in $9.95. And the moment, if this does come out with good press release, good earnings report, it starts shooting on up, just click cover right there. You don't know why? So many people, oh guys, hold on, Tesla just got a quick little spike. The reason why is so many traders, hold on, it has a huge spread right now. Tesla just ran all the way up towards $1,000. If it does have a good press release right here, you are going to want to just click cover and get out right away. Even if the bids are at, let's say, 985, 980. The reason why that you guys want to have a very high price is so you can get out immediately. Even this, you can do 1,005. 1,005 if you wanted to, and just click cover. You will get out wherever the ask is. Right now, Tesla is starting to move itself on up. If you see the earnings report, please feel free to drop it. What I'm loving right now is we asked the chat room, which way is Tesla going to be going? We had 74% of the chat room right now say it's going to go up, and the majority of you guys do have calls going right now. Come on, baby! Come on, baby! Let's keep this party going. Let's see if Tesla's going to keep on ripping and running. 1,023 right now. Oh, guys. Oh, baby. This is what I love. We are feeling good already. Let's see. Tesla, looking for that earnings report right now. Tesla right now still trying to get a little bit of a pop. No earnings report has officially come out that I'm seeing. If you guys see it, please post it. Blue earnings away. Right now, this is all over the place. It's gone from 980 to 1,034. Right now, it's trying to battle this 1,000 mark. Let's see where those earnings are at. Right now, I'm on newsfilter.io. Little heads up, I'm on newsfilter.io. I'm looking for the refresh. Nothing has coming up yet. I'm also, again, taking a look over on www.cnbc.com, and still nothing has come up yet. So Netflix is still the breaking news. Right here, nothing has come up yet. And also still looking over on Tesla at this moment on Yahoo Finance, there is still nothing there yet. So we have gone from 980 to 1,034. We're battling $1,000 right now. And I know a lot of you guys are watching Tesla over on what? We are watching, you can see it over on CNBC on your TV at this moment. I'm still looking for that exact. Right now, Tesla, if you guys are on the long side, so far so good. Let's see if we can get a refresh right here. Nope, still nothing I'm seeing. Still nothing I'm seeing at this time. BKU, make sure again, if you guys have any sort of link, you guys can post it. Right now, what do we have here? We have BKU saying Tesla Q1 has beat for 3.2. Reports routers have reported quarterly earnings of $3.22 per share, which beat the analyst consensus estimate by $2.26 or 42%. This is 246% increase over the earnings the same period. All right, so that's from Bazinga.com right here. It does say again from Bazinga.com at this time, Tesla reported quarterly earnings of 3.22, which beat the analyst consensus estimate of 2.26 by 42%. So Tesla has beat what again the expectations were by 42%. This is a 246% increase year over year. So 246% increase right here. So everything is positive at this moment. You guys, again, right now, I appreciate everyone posting their screenshots. We still don't have an official earnings report, but we do have right now from Bazinga.com little screenshots. We have 32 minutes ago. Tesla's earnings are out. Here we go, guys. Tesla's earnings are out. Here are the numbers. So it says Tesla. I don't want to block the chart right here. It says Tesla reported earnings after the bell. Here are the results. Earnings per share, $3.22 versus what was expected, $2.26. Revenue, $18.76 versus what was expected, $17.8. Early this month, Tesla reported vehicle deliveries of 310,000 for the first quarter, the closest approximation of again disclosed by the company. Wednesday's earnings call comes amid CEO Elon Musk's hostile takeover for Twitter. So basically right now, the numbers are good. The numbers have beat, the numbers are up, and they have beat it by about 42%. So again, shout out to everyone right now. So let's see where we're at. Shout out to everyone making some nice money right now. I know what you guys are probably thinking. There's a couple people in on this play right now that are probably at the 980s. That, you're just saying to yourself, just stay above 1,000. Just stay above 1,000. Stay above 1,000, right? I want Tesla to go all the way up to 1,045, 1,050. That would be, I think, an amazing target for you guys. 1,045, 1,050. Now, what's the good thing about shares? If you are in on shares right now and you're happy with the profit that you guys have, you guys can lock up. If you guys are in on shares right now and you're up a free $400 at this moment, you guys are up a free $2,000, a free $5,000, depending on how many shares you have, you guys can go ahead and lock in your gains. But right now, if you guys are on an options contract, good news and bad news is you are stuck in on this trade until tomorrow. So I know if you guys are on your call contract right now, you're saying to yourself, Deck, I am one happy camper. Let this thing go all the way up to 1,050, baby. Let's keep it going, baby. Let's keep throwing it out there. So I'm pumped. I am absolutely pumped up for you guys. Now, what we were talking about before is there is more room for Tesla to fall than rise, right? If Tesla came out with an earnings that was not good by any sort of way, if Tesla came out with an earnings that wasn't good and did not reach expectations, Tesla obviously had all of this room to fall apart. Just take a look at the daily chart real quick, right? You can see that on the daily chart. The daily chart, we had a great earnings right here, which I think, of course, Tesla's going to do very well on. Tesla's going to have a nice little pop. But when in retrospect, Tesla has this much room to run, right? From essentially here to here. This is going to be very strong resistance, okay? No matter what, you could say, Deck, this is the best earnings I've ever read in my life. No matter what, this will be very strong resistance. The problem is Tesla does have still a lot of room it can still fall, right? There is a lot of room it can fall. Now, hey, don't let me again discourage you. Tesla came out with great earnings. Tesla just came out with a beat. Tesla has an earnings call with Elon Musk, I believe, right around 4:30 today, right? But this is great. There is more room to fall than climb, but I don't think anyone's complaining if you're in at the price of 980 and the stock's at 1,010. I don't think anyone's complaining if you guys are in at, again, 980 where the stock closed at and it's at 1,020. Money's money, profit's profit. Shout out to the traders making a nice gain right now. That's what I like. That's what I like to see. You guys are asking, Deck, how much are you up? Are you in on Tesla right now? Team, right now at this time on Tesla, I'm currently up $2.8 million. Deck, let's see your P&L. No, guys, no. I'm not going to show you my P&L. Just trust me. Okay, everyone, just trust me. Everyone over on YouTube, everyone on Twitter, please, again, throw compliments my way and just say, Deck, that's incredible. That's amazing. Give me, again, some emoji hand claps. Just say, I've never seen anyone this good before in my life, right? Hey, trust me. I'm not showing any sort of P&L. Just please give me a lot of praise. I need it. I deserve it. Okay, I do. I'm one of the best. One of the best out there. The source, just trust me, guys. Okay? Thank you. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, team. Yeah. Hey, Deck, that sounds credible. That sounds good. That sounds nice. I like it. Deck, you're the best. Oh, what a goat. 2 million. Let's get it up to 3 million. Now, guys, I'm not gambling on Tesla in any sort of way. I am not in on Tesla at this time. I am not in on Tesla by any sort of means at this moment. For anyone that says, oh, Deck, I really thought you were up $2.8 million. Hey, I like, again, the enthusiasm. I like your confidence in me. Hey, I'm down to keep that dream alive. But right now, I am more just pumped up for every single trader that is feeling this Tesla trade at this moment, getting this nice rip, getting this nice run. POB, tomorrow we see the FTC after me. Shoo, please, no. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, stock market police. I'm not up. Right now, Tesla, we're still watching this one. Currently up at 1,020. But hey, traders in chat, how you guys feeling? Let me see your profits at this moment. Traders in chat, how are you guys feeling? We are currently up 1,022. Who has the biggest profit so far? We're coming on up towards the highs of the day. What are you guys up at this moment? Last night we had Austin up $30,000. He finished off his trade with $70,000. That was the biggest we had. Right now we're coming up towards a brand new high of the day over on Tesla. What are your calls looking at? What are your shares looking at? How are you guys again feeling over on this moment? Living like Matt. What's up, buddy? Great to see you. And that's the thing. Tomorrow I want to see some big trades. Clark Kent, Mark, appreciate you guys as well. Right now, Tesla, I want to see it 1,050. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tesla up towards 1,050. If we can get that break up to that new high of the day, we can definitely squeeze here. Right now, I want to see that break on up over on Tesla, but absolutely beautiful. And just a little heads up. You can see right here, Tesla. Look at this, team. Tesla revenue grows 81% from last year. This guy's crazy. I don't know, Elon Musk, he's not human. He's not human, Elon Musk. The man is robotic. If you open up that man, there is a whole bunch of wiring and program. Tesla revenues grow 81% from last year. And this company just seems like it's getting bigger and stronger and growing. Now remember, team, something that is absolutely crucial is coming on up, and I believe it is June 30th. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But Tesla is going to be having a shareholder meeting, and actually maybe May 30th. And they are going to vote if they would like to have a stock split. Now, we already know Google is having a stock split. Google is going to be having a stock split, and Google is only going to be $200 per share. Why do these companies have stock splits? Well, it gives investors a chance to invest into the company and actually raise more capital. Not many people can afford more than, let's say, 5 shares on Google. Google's at $2,566 per share. Most people may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shares, and that's it, right? Because it's so expensive. Amazon is having a stock split. They're $3,000 per share. And Tesla is now $1,000 per share. The thing is, on these plays, guys, they're so expensive. Most of these companies have stock splits that it brings in more capital. Tesla is voting if they should have a stock split. coming on up May 30th or June 30th, whichever day that is. I will double check on that. And they are going to most likely have their stock split, I would assume, in August. Now, if that's the case, you'll be able to grab Tesla for $100 per share. What would you guys do if Tesla was at $100 per share? I'm buying in on Google. I'm buying in on Amazon. I'm buying in whenever these stocks have stock splits, because it is going to be hilarious 5, 6, 7 years down the road when you say, all right, guys, you know, I'm honestly pretty good. I'm retiring. People say, what do you mean you're retiring? Your friends, your family are asking. And you're saying, well, I mean, Tesla's currently sitting at $2,000, $3,000. And they say, yeah, when did you buy in on it? Right? Oh, I bought in on it at $123. Right? $123? Yeah, they had the stock split back in 2022. Bought in on it, 5, 6, 7 years go by. Stock's all the way back up towards $2,000. It's like, is Tesla going to go out of business anytime soon? No. Is Google going to go out of business? No. Is Amazon going to go out of business? No. These are all amazing and very good, credible companies. If you buy in after or in before or after the stock split and you're in somewhere around $100, just think about where you are setting yourself up for life. You are setting yourself up for the next 10 years of just absolute amazing, absolute amazing investments. We also, little side note team, have SEV right now. SEV just had a little bit of a pop. Take your eyes peeled over on SEV. I know we want to be keeping our eyes peeled over on Tesla. But SEV right now has gone from $7.50 all the way up towards, again, $9. Little penny stock trade if anyone wants to check that on out. SEV was a hot stock of yesterday. It was actually the number one top gainer over on Tuesday's market. So this was a very nice spiker. Let's go back to a 5-minute time frame, and you can see SEV went on a great spike on Tuesday. Today, on Wednesday, it just went on another very nice pop. Just went on a very nice move right here. So SEV, absolutely beautiful. Tesla so far, absolutely beautiful. So make sure that you guys are all set over on these trades. And as I said before, congratulations to everyone making some nice money. Let's have Tesla stock split. If you actually type in on Google, Tesla stock split, you'll probably get some information on it. Tesla stock split and more, what retail investors, if I had to buy one stock, Tesla would be it. Is Tesla expected to split? It says, Tesla's board has approved the plan to increase the amount of authorized stock, but it hasn't actually approved the actual split yet. Tesla will ask shareholders to vote on this year's annual meeting to authorize an additional shares in order to enable the stock split. Tesla announced a 5-to-1 stock split back in 2021. So we got to wait. We got to wait until they have their annual meeting, which, as I said, I believe it's in May. So that will be a very, very big time. But yeah, that's what I'm putting my money in on for long-term investments. Right now, we do have Tesla starting to drop on down. Remember, I want to see that Tesla break. I want to see Tesla back above 1,034. Right now, Tesla, so far so good. 978 all the way up towards, again, 1,030. Wilson, Deck, be careful on what you say based on, again, WT. Again, I have zero, I personally do not know Ross in any sort of way. So, again, I have no personal opinion towards him in any sort of way. Obviously, I only wish him the best, and I hope everything gets cleared up on his end, right? That's it. So, it's just, I hope everything gets cleared up on his end, and he's all good to go and, ready to get back after. Again, I personally do not know him. So, I don't really want to talk too much. I don't want to bash anyone. I don't want to bring anyone down. I don't like speaking negative about someone or even another community or any of that stuff. Not really my style. It's tough to get me all rowdy up and going, but I don't want to talk about someone, especially when they're down. So I'm sure he's probably not having the best day in the world. Don't want to kick anyone when they're down. Dawn says Elon will be able to make a higher offer for Twitter now after this good earnings. Whew, potentially, right? Definitely. That's the big thing. I mean, if you guys want to stick around for a while, it's either going to be at 4. Does anyone have the exact time? either 4:30 or 5 o'clock. If I'd assume it's probably going to be 5 o'clock, but Elon Musk is going to be jumping on a conference call. Let's actually try to get that really quickly. Let's go to Tesla conference call, and you can listen in, and that's going to be a time that Tesla is going to shoot up or down as well. So does anyone have that link for that? Tesla's conference call. Here it is. Got it, team. I gotcha. And this is Tesla Q1 2022 conference calls starting in 37 minutes. So it is starting at 5 o'clock. So what it says right here, audio and visual, Tesla Q1, 37 minutes starting on up. So Tesla CC conference call if you guys are interested right now. What do you guys have right here? Trade Daily. Oh, here. This is actually a legit one. There you go. From Tesla, starting in 67 minutes. Awesome. So this one straight from Tesla, verified from Tesla right here. I'll post this over on YouTube for you guys as well. So yeah, let's see if Tesla can break through that 1,050 mark. Hey, guys, congratulations. Congratulations for the traders making that nice bank today. Congratulations for all the traders making that nice money, making those nice gains. That's what it's all about. Whew. I'm excited to see where this one's going to be at tomorrow. And how's the SPY doing? Because when you talk about the entire market, you know, Tesla does have a small part in the SPY. The SPY is made up of the top 500 companies in the United States. The SPY could also be having a gap up tomorrow, right? Depending on what is said now at, again, the conference call. We basically have had first step on up. Tesla so far has gone on its step on up today. We have gone from 1,078 where we closed at towards, again, 1,030. We've already had step one. Now at 5 o'clock would be step two. Elon Musk speaking, trying to, again, move it up to that next level, trying to move it on that next rip, trying to get it on that next pop, trying to get it on that next climb. So the SPY, keeping our eyes peeled on this one. Also, a little side note, SEV still trying to move itself on up. SEV, I'm not seeing any sort of news on this play, but this was a big spike over on Tuesday, trying to get a little hype towards it. So SEV still staying alive. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns on what we are seeing so far? Guys, I know I got to throw it on at least, one time during this earnings. You guys already know. At least once during this earnings, team. Whoa!
Computers never sleep. It's verified.
Whoa!
It's guaranteed. NFT.
What is going on? Whoa! What is going on? What is happening here, traders? Shout out to you, Elon. Shout out to you, Elon Musk. This one goes out to my boy, EM. Take him home today, baby. Take him home today, baby.
My name is Elon. I'm going to construct each EV vehicle to be able to run on over 23 miles per GE using batteries to go ahead and make the most compatible battery system you've ever seen. My child name is XVY8281.
For your vanity.
Shoo. Man, I know half the people joining in on YouTube for the first time is just saying, where the heck am I? What part of the deep YouTube crevice am I in at this moment? That's all it is. We got, again, about 30 minutes. We have about 30 minutes at this time. $30 until this conference call. Rob Winter, what's the name of that track? Name of that track right now is Elon Musk NFT song, if you want to actually look it up. It's pretty good. So SEV will still watch this. We got about 30 minutes here. Tesla, keeping our eyes peeled over on this stock at this moment. And this, as long as it holds that 1,010 mark, as long as it holds $1,000, it's still good to go. The earnings are beat, and now really the next best thing is just waiting to see, where Elon, what Elon is going to say, right? Yeah, last time Elon Musk talked is when Tesla went on its big drop. Do you guys remember that? One of the things they brought up, they started talking about, and I still don't know. I still don't know too much about it. And I don't want to, again, sit here and say, oh, I know tons about this. I don't. But I know that they have not started their the truck yet. They have not talked. They have not gone the Tesla truck. Sorry for stumbling so much. And they have not started the Tesla Roadster, the new one. Basically, the truck and the sports car, they have not even started to work on that yet, right? That's not coming out anytime soon. I believe the last thing they were talking about was a new robot, some sort of Tesla robot, and that's kind of like their main focus, other than, giving just the normal Tesla, battery life and anything along those lines. But they're not working on the Tesla truck at this time. They're not working on the Tesla Roadster at this time. They're working on some new robot that they want to have finished by the end of the year. Adam, Amy saying, please question, if we are in an options trade, is there a way to close out, and is there a way to add stop loss after you enter the trade in options? Thanks, brother. Unfortunately, there is not. Unfortunately, if you are in on an options trade right now, there is nothing that you can do until tomorrow. Is there a way to have a stop loss right now? Unfortunately, no. When you're in on an options trade overnight, there's no way to get out. There's no way to get in. You are in before the market closes, and then you are holding till 9:30. The only way you can get out of a trade right now is if you have shares. You can sell them in after hours. You cannot get out, though. Yeah, so Kevin's kind of just giving it to you blunt. I'm trying to be nice about it. Kevin says, strap up. You're in for a little bit of a ride. Right? Depending on what Elon says, you're in for a little bit of a ride. Austin Conley, are you going to buy the Tesla bot? I don't even know what the Tesla bot is. I have no idea. Makes me think of like iRobot, though, with that movie with Will Smith. Only instead of like, they all look like Tesla. Or they all look like Elon. I'll be honest, guys, I'm not a huge fan of artificial intelligence. Every single thing tells us, right? Every single, part of history tells us that we should not have too advanced artificial intelligence. The moment we start creating robots that become smarter than us, that's when, again, we are going downhill. And I mean, Elon, I've listened to Elon say that in a podcast before as well. He's like, he's trying to stay away from artificial intelligence because he thinks that would end the human race. Obviously, we're getting a little bit more sci-fi at this moment. We're getting a little off track. But if you got anyone has seen The Matrix, there you go. If anyone has ever seen iRobot, there you go. If anyone has ever seen Ex Machina with that nerd, there you go. So 4:30 at this market. Seeing what we have. Any questions, comments, or concerns about Tesla, please let me know. As of now, though, everything's positive. They beat. They are up. They have increased by 81% of last year. The earnings report has been absolutely fantastic. You guys can really just go to cnbc.com straight up right here. It's right on the homepage, Tesla revenues. If you guys want to read a little bit more into it, it said Tesla just reported fourth quarter results for the period ending March 31st. Tesla reported 3.22 earnings per share. Shares rose more than 3% in after hours trading. The next big part that you guys want to be ready for is going to be at 5 o'clock when Elon Musk speaks. If you guys do not have that link, the link is going to be right here. You can honestly type in on type in Tesla, and you'll be all set to listen in. Most likely they won't be showing their faces, but you will be able to hear the entire thing. So you guys will be ready to rock there. All right. So team, I just want to say thank you to all the traders who have joined us today. At 5 o'clock in about 30 minutes from now, I will bring over the Tesla phone call, and I will again play it for you guys so everyone can hear. So at again 5 o'clock, I will again play it so everyone can listen in on that. But that is going to still be, they actually just pushed it back, ladies and gentlemen. They actually just pushed it back. Little heads up for everyone. So it was going to be at 5 o'clock. If you guys take a look, they just pushed it back, and now it's actually going to be at 5:30. So watch the timer. It was, again, only 30 minutes away. Now it's 56 minutes away. So just a heads up, team. They are pushing it back. You have about an hour now until that even happens. All right? Hey, team, congratulations to the traders that made some bank today. Congratulations to the traders who made some great profits today. Congratulations to everyone walking away with a nice gain today. We've had some nice day trades over in chat. And tomorrow is going to be another big day ahead. Anything super big tomorrow, or does next week kind of kick off the next hot time here? Let's see what we got tomorrow. Tomorrow, traders, anything super big? Tomorrow is Snap. So we have Snapchat, I believe that is tomorrow. And then Friday, we have Verizon. Next week is very big. Next week, we have Google, we have Amazon, we have Apple, we have PayPal. Next week's going to be very big. Netflix, big. Tesla, big. Snap is the big one tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow, though, little heads up, we will have full afternoon trading commentary from 2:30 to 4. Snapchat should have, again, a decent earnings, but it's not going to be anything like Netflix was or how Tesla is, okay? So we will have our normal commentary tomorrow. Tomorrow is also a free YouTube live stream day, and that is going to be so much fun and so fantastic. So just want to say thank you to all the traders who have joined us today. I will, again, bring over that conference call when it does start on off. Tesla positive earnings. Enjoy your calls, and I hope to wake up and I want to see Tesla at 1,050 and see you guys again with a big smile on your face. Have a wonderful evening. Bring it over the conference call at 5:30, but you guys have the link as well so you guys can listen on your end, and let's see what Tesla and what Elon Musk has to say about it all. Let's get to it. Awesome job, awesome work. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys hit that thumbs on up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Everyone over on YouTube so that we're all set. Let's wrap it up, traders. You guys know how to do it. Let's do it, team. In 3, 2, 1. Baby, I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow. Have a great one. Elon Musk going live in about 50 minutes. See you guys then.
sure what's going on. But you're just a chance I see to keep on dreaming. You're just another day that keeps me breathing. Baby, I'm afraid that there's nothing sure. Baby, hold something high away with me some more.
One fight is one who needs a gun. Boom, boom, knock you out. You knocked me down. Who's laughing now? Boom, boom, knock you out.
See the smoke when the sun shines. We will forever be faded under cold sky, captivated in your cold eyes. We will forever be faded under cold
Never stop the fucking rave.
Silent love calling faith to shadow me through your hallways. New echoes you can feel and rehearse the way you heal.
Make them dance just like you, 'cause you make me move. Yeah, you always make me go. Yeah, you always make me go.
I run away with your footsteps. I'll build a city that drinks for two.
stove off and the bloods run stale. Don't wanna let you down, but I am hellbound. Oh, this is all for you. Don't wanna hide the truth. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come. This is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Don't get too close. Get stuck inside. It's where my demons
I was running on an empty heart, not a trace of gasoline. Trying to dim every single spark that could hurt, that could burn all of me. Like a soldier on the battleground, lying wounded on the field. I was fighting along with a broken start. Now I'm caught in a war with no shield.
Drive the words we say, every single line could lead the way. With the speed of light here on our side, we're chasing time. Can't afford to lose velocity when you're going places never seen. With the speed of light here on our side, we're chasing time, chasing time. I was left to my own devices. Many days fell away with nothing to show, and the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes,
This is our story. We can take back someday. Our lonely glory. But we can get back, they said. This won't you stay for a while? I'll take you on a ride if you can keep a secret. Oh, won't you stay for a while? Show me darkness, baby, show me deepest. Oh, won't you stay for a while? I'll take you on a ride if you can keep a secret. Oh, won't you stay for a while? Show me darkness, baby, show me deepest. I'll take you on a ride if you can keep a secret.
Stay a while, and I will make it worth your while, worth your while. Stay a while, and I'ma go the extra mile, extra mile. Boy, if you wait until the lights go down, I got some tricks that have you screaming out. So stay a while, and I'ma make it worth your while, worth your while.
Oh, won't you stay for a while? I'll take you on a ride if you can keep a secret.
I was left to my own devices. Many days fell away with nothing to show, and the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? if you close your eyes. We were caught up and lost in all of our vices. In your pose as the dust settled around us, and the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? But if you close your eyes, but if you close your eyes. Take a look past our innocence. Take a step back to yesterday. When life would move slower, we would never grow up. All we knew that love was for when we're older. Anything could happen, secretly imagine. They could never tear us apart, too young to fall. This is our story that we could take back someday. Our lonely glory that we could get back, they say. This is our story that we could take back someday. Our hope, if only we could take back Take a look past our innocence. Take a step back to yesterday. When life would move slower, we would never grow up. All we knew that love was for when we're older. Anything could happen, secretly imagine. They could never tear us apart, too young to fall. This is our story that we could take back someday. Our lonely glory that we could get back, they say. This is our story that we could take back someday. Our hope, if only we could take back someday.
time when everything's wrong. You make it right. I feel so high. I come alive. I need to be free with you tonight. I need your love.
I'll be the one you call every day and night. Are you gonna be the one who's always gonna treat me
I
right?
need your love.
And when we get together, turning down the lights. Need you 100, need you 100%. Go I'll run away with your footsteps. I'll build a city that drinks for two. And if you lose yourself, I will find you. Always make me go. Need you 100, no, 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 no.
I need your love.
Need you 100, no, no, no. I will find you. Need you 100%. Need you 100%.
Am I wrong? Thinking out the box from where I stay. Am I wrong? Saying that I choose another way. But that's just how I feel.
I need your love.
That's just how I feel.
Need you 100%.
If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that I'll go home. So am I wrong? Thinking that we can be something for real.
I need your love.
Now am I wrong? For trying to reach the things that I can't see.
Need you
That's
100%.
just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see.
Actual events and results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. Before we jump into Q&A, Zach will have some opening remarks. Zach?
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Just to start off here, Q1 was a challenging but extremely successful quarter for the company. Despite numerous supply interruptions, including shutdowns at our Shanghai factory and nearby suppliers due to COVID, we've continued making progress and achieved our best ever vehicle deliveries. Last quarter, we demonstrated a series of new financial records, including revenue, gross margins, operating margin, and bottom line profitability. GAAP automotive gross margin reached 32.9%, and for the first time exceeded 30% when excluding regulatory credits. Higher pricing continues to positively impact our financials as we make progress delivering cars in our growing backlog. Note that for most vehicles, our delivery wait times are quite long. Thus, cars delivered in Q1 generally carried pricing set in prior quarters and at levels lower than cars being ordered today. Our per unit vehicle costs increased as well. Inflation, raw material prices, expedites, and logistics costs continues to impact our cost structure. Factory shutdowns also occurred with little to no notice, hence we are unable to take action to plan those interruptions in a cost-efficient manner. Additionally, we saw a slight mix shift towards more profitable vehicles, including the Model Y. We also recognized a one-time benefit of $288 million from credit revenue relating to a regulatory change in the U.S. CAFE penalty, without of which credit revenue would have declined compared to the same period last year. The energy business has continued to be impacted by macro conditions more severely than the vehicle business. Our storage products are in need of chip supply, and new import processes have impacted supply of certain components for our solar systems, which is reflected in our solar volume for the quarter. OpEx as a percentage of revenue continues to reduce, driven by higher revenue, lower stock-based comp expense, and other items. As a result of our ongoing improvements in operating leverage, we achieved a record operating margin of over 19%. Note that commissioning costs for our factories are in R&D, as Berlin started production in late March and Austin in early April. These costs will be in automotive COGS going forward, given these factories are now producing customer sellable cars. Our free cash flows have remained quite strong, yet were impacted by working capital related to lower than planned production. Additionally, we have reduced our debt, excluding product financing, to nearly zero. Looking ahead in the immediate term, a few things to keep in mind for Q2. First, we've lost about a month of build volume out of our factory in Shanghai due to COVID-related shutdowns. Production is resuming at limited levels, and we're working to get back to full production as quickly as possible. This will impact total build and delivery volume in Q2. Second, as I've mentioned before, Austin and Berlin are just starting their ramps, and thus those inefficiencies will start to flow through our gross margins in Q2. Third, we do have higher ASPs in our backlog, which will help to offset some of these headwinds. We continue to drive towards further strengthening of our financials in the second half of the year and believe our 50% or above growth rate remains achievable for the year. I want to conclude by thanking the Tesla team, our suppliers, and our new customers for a great first quarter.
Thank you very much. And Elon has some opening remarks as well.
Sure. Some of my remarks will be redundant with Zach's, but it's maybe worth repeating. Q1 was once again a record quarter on many levels, reaching the highest deliveries, profit, and an operating margin of 19%. This was despite a lot of chip shortages, many logistics challenges, and an overall difficult quarter. So I'd really like to congratulate the Tesla team on achieving record profitability and output despite many difficult headwinds, and especially the Tesla China team in our Shanghai factory. They really had significant challenges due to the COVID shutdowns, and nonetheless have been able to output a tremendous number of high quality vehicles. And we are already back up and running with the Shanghai factory. So as Zach said, we remain confident of a 50% growth in vehicle production in 2022 versus 21. I think we actually have a reasonable shot at a 60% increase over last year. So let's see. Obviously, we began production, as people know, with Giga Berlin and Giga Texas in the past few months. So we have two fantastic factories with great teams, and they are ramping rapidly. Now, with new factories, the initial ramp always looks small, but it grows exponentially. So, but I have very high confidence in the teams in both factories, and we expect to ramp those initially slowly, but like I said, growing exponentially, with them achieving high volume by the end of this year. So, let's see. We're also working on a new vehicle that I alluded to at the Giga Texas opening, which is a dedicated robotaxi that's highly optimized for autonomy, meaning it would not have steering wheel or pedals. And there are a number of other innovations around it that I think are quite exciting. But it's fundamentally optimized for it's trying to achieve the lowest fully considered cost per mile or cost per kilometer, accounting everything. And so it's, I think, going to be a very powerful product where we aspire to reach volume production of that in 2024. So I think that really will be a massive driver of Tesla's growth. And we remain on track to reach volume production of the Cybertruck next year. Let's see. So it's basically, once again, I'd like to thank the Tesla employees for their hard work, but also I'd like to thank our suppliers who have really gone the extra mile. We have an amazing supplier group, and I just want to say a heartfelt thanks to the suppliers that have really worked day and night to ensure that Tesla is able to keep the factories running. And we're really at the early stage of our journey. We only crossed 1 million units in the past 12 months recently, and we aspire to head to 20 million units a year. So we're basically 5% along the way towards our goal. And but we are growing, very, very rapidly year over year, and remain confident of exceeding 50% annual growth for the foreseeable future, for basically several of the next years. I mean, so yeah. And then there's of course Optimus, which I was surprised that people did not realize the magnitude of the Optimus robot program. The importance of Optimus will become apparent in the coming years. Those who are insightful or listen carefully will understand that Optimus ultimately will be worth more than the car business, worth more than FSD. That's my firm belief. So, and then of course insurance is growing well. We expect to address the part shortages that limited our progress with batteries and solar. So we expect batteries and solar to also grow well this year. And basically the future is very exciting. I've never been more optimistic or excited about Tesla's future than I am right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to first investor question. The first investor question is, Elon has historically provided FSD timelines with not optimal accuracy. We love its optimism for 2022 release, but is there any data Tesla can share with investors to help them make their own conclusions on progress being made, interventions per mile driven, or any other data?
Sure. Well, with respect to full self-driving, of any technology development I've ever been involved in, I've never really seen more kind of false dawns or where it seems like we're going to break through, but we don't, as I've seen in full self-driving. And ultimately what it comes down to is that to solve full self-driving, you actually have to solve real-world artificial intelligence, which nobody has solved. The whole road system is made for biological neural nets and eyes. And so actually, when you think about it, in order to solve full self-driving, we have to solve neural nets and cameras to a degree of a capability that is on par with and really exceeds humans. I think we will achieve that this year. The best way to reach your own assessment is to join the Tesla Full Self-Driving Beta program, where we have over 100,000 people right now enrolled in that program, and we expect to broaden that significantly this year. So that's my recommendation: is join the Full Self-Driving Beta program and experience it for yourself, and take note of the rate of improvement with every release. And we put out a new release roughly every 2 weeks. And you'll see a little bit of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but overall, the rate of improvement is incredibly quick. So that's my recommendation for reaching your own assessment is literally try it.
Thank you. The second question is, how much of an impact will the production shutdown in Shanghai have in Q2? What is the timeline for localizing the Model 3 in Europe, or will newer models be prioritized in Berlin?
Well, we did lose a lot of important days of production, and there are sort of upstream supplier challenges where a lot of suppliers also lost many days of production. But our Tesla Shanghai, Giga Shanghai, is coming back with a vengeance. So I think, notwithstanding, new issues that arise, I think we will see record output per week from Giga Shanghai this quarter, albeit we are missing a couple of weeks. So, that means that most likely vehicle production in Q2 will be similar to Q1, maybe slightly lower, but it's also possible we may pull a rabbit out of the hat and be slightly higher, but it's to be roughly on par. But then Q3 and Q4 will be substantially higher. So it seems likely that we'll be able to produce over 1.5 million cars this year. That's my best guess. And then Model 3, it's important for new factories to be focused on and have the least amount of complexity and variation, which is why Giga Berlin, Giga Texas are focused on the Model Y. It's from the point at which you have a factory complete and you're making a small number of units to the point where it's producing high quality vehicles in volume is sort of 9 to 12 months from start of production. So now hopefully we're getting better at that ramp, so maybe it's a little less, but to get to sort of the 5,000 a week level is typically taken us around 12 months from start of production. So
Thank you. The next question is, how much raw material exposure do you have, measured roughly in percentage of cost of goods sold, for example, in a given quarter versus 1 to 2 years out, both direct and indirect? Separately, how do you think about price increases versus prioritizing higher mixed vehicles going forward?
actually, on the price increase front, I should mention that it may seem like maybe we're being unreasonable about increasing the prices of our vehicles, given that we had record profitability this quarter. But the wait list for our vehicles is quite long, and some of the vehicles that people will order, the wait list extends into next year. So our prices of vehicles ordered now are really anticipating supplier and logistics cost growth that we're aware of and believe will happen over the next 6 to 12 months. So that's why we have the price increases today, because a car ordered today will arrive in some cases a year from now. So we have a very long wait list, and we're obviously not demand limited. We are production limited by very much production limited.
Raw material exposure?
Yeah, just to add to what Elon is saying, there's different ways to calculate raw material exposure. I think a simple way, we estimate we're around 10 to 15% of our cost structure exposed to raw materials. And just to clarify a couple of things on that. So we've been experiencing increases in costs in general, but also raw materials for a number of quarters now. That pace picked up in Q1, so last quarter. And what we're seeing for Q2 is slightly higher than that as well. And, as indices move, it doesn't impact us immediately or directly. In some cases, we have contracts with suppliers, but then as those contracts expire, we have to renegotiate them so that there can be a lag. In some cases, our contracts do directly reflect movement in commodity prices or raw material prices, but the timing in which that Tesla pays for that has a lag associated with it as well, based on the contract. And so to Elon's point, what we're trying to do here, because it's quite an unprecedented situation of raw material movement and all of these various lags and uncertainty around renegotiating contracts, is we're trying to anticipate where things will go and make sure that the pricing that we have put in place at the time that those raw material cost increases hit us, that they align, and that the company can remain financially healthy in various scenarios as we look out over the next 4 quarters.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is, why does Tesla continue to fight dealership laws on a state-by-state basis versus taking it federal? Separately, why isn't Tesla using 800-volt architecture in its vehicles? What are the advantages or disadvantages?
Sure. Well, from Tesla's standpoint, obviously, we would love to have federal legislation that allows direct sales in all states, but we have not seen willingness on the part of the Congress to enact such laws that would override state laws. So, unfortunately, we have to fight it on a state-by-state basis. Drew, do you want to answer the 800-volt question?
Yeah, sure. On the 800-volt thing, so it's really a case-by-case thing. For the smaller platform vehicles like 3 and Y, there's some wins and losses with 800 volts. Not everything is better. And so we look at that platform and, we're not like ignoring the reality that you could go to a higher voltage, but there's nothing really encouraging us to do so on that platform. It's really about mass and power. And as you look at bigger vehicles, there are some advantages on those bigger vehicles.
Yeah, I would just quantify that. Basically, like our estimate is that going from 400 to 800 volts might save $100.
Yep.
It's not really moving the needle.
And you're changing many things.
Yes, exactly.
From the charging infrastructure all the way through the entire vehicle system.
Yes.
To get maybe $100.
Yes, exactly. So, in the US, you've got 110 volts household power or voltage, and then in your most parts of the world, like sort of 220. But really, it doesn't make that much of a difference, and appliances work pretty much as well, in say Europe as they do in the US.
Yeah.
So there's some the advantages are small, and the cost is high. Like so if say like long term, like years from now, does it make sense to probably move to an 800 volt architecture? I said probably, but it really needs a very big vehicle volume to pay for all the costs of changing from 400 to 800 volts. And then you want to continue with the.
I was just going to say that 100 volts is also kind of like a spreadsheet exercise, right?
$100.
Sorry, $100 is roughly like a spreadsheet exercise. Like, that you have to get through the full program to the end to see that maybe it's been whittled away to 50 or less.
Yeah.
On bigger vehicles where you're talking about higher power on the charging side or higher power from the battery to the power electronics, or you need more torque, so the current requirements go up. There's a little bit more semiconductor and actual conductor savings of going to the higher voltage, and so we do consider that for semi and Cybertruck, but for the 3Y platform where we've got everything running and the benefit is questionably small.
Yeah, it's basically zero for robotaxi.
Yeah, for robotaxi, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So.
No, induction. No. Sorry. No, this. So I was. Ignore.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Next question is, how are the current 4680s performing versus expectations set during the battery day in terms of expected range increase and dollars per kilowatt hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're working in all the areas we shared on battery day. And we have sort of consistent progress across all of those areas towards achieving the 5-year cost trajectory goals for the costs within our control. But we do not control all of the commodity costs. So, that's an exception I need to call out. Similar to Model 3, it will take us several years to get rate and yield to the point where everything that we've discussed is achieved. Our priority was on simplicity and scale during our initial 4680 and structural battery ramps. And as we attain our manufacturing goals, we will layer in new material technologies we are developing and higher range structural pack revisions.
I think maybe in a nutshell,
Sure.
I think probably it's fair to say that 4680 and structural pack will be competitive with the best alternatives later this year. And we think we'll exceed the best alternatives next year.
Yeah. I mean, we have some good existing proofs, right? Like we've built the facility here in Texas. Like we know how much we spent on capital equipment in the facility, and it's, more than 5x less than prior technology installations. So we're saving huge on CapEx, on utilities and personnel. We know what those loads are and how many people are needed to run what is basically a highly automized factory. And we have massive reductions in both of those. So like the cost model is well understood. It's really about rate and yield, which will come in time, as Elon said, over the course of this year and next.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the next question is, how does Tesla plan to secure raw materials required to scale to extreme size?
Yeah, so this is something we think about quite a lot. It depends what extreme size means, but so certainly if you're looking at say the $5, $10, $20 million, $5, 10, 20 million vehicle levels, you really have to analyze the sort of macroeconomic, just like what is the tonnage of lithium that you need, of nickel, of iron phosphate, of graphite, separators, electrolytes, electrolyte. You really need to think of just macro tonnage, and we need to think about this for the world as a whole, because we want to figure out what are limiting factors for accelerating the advent of a sustainable energy future, and whatever those limiting factors are, Tesla will take action on those limiting factors. So right now we think mining and refining lithium it appears to be a limiting factor, and it certainly is responsible for quite a bit of cost growth in the cells. It's I think the single biggest cost growth item right now, certainly on a percentage basis. Although just for those who don't totally know this, the actual content of lithium in a lithium-ion cell is maybe around 2 or 3% of the cell. So
yeah, 5 kgs a car.
yeah, it's not 5 kilograms exactly. It's not it's called a lithium-ion cell, but by far the most expensive and heaviest item in the cell is the cathode. So that's the nickel or the iron phosphate. So we're looking carefully at all of the raw materials and trying to figure out how we can accelerate the total amount of raw materials needed to transition the world to sustainability. And I think we've got, that we don't have enough time on this call to really go through all those details, but we are thinking about these things, and we think we'll have some exciting announcements in the months to come.
Yeah, one thing I want to call out is we're also committed to recycling at all of our cell factories. We're recycling 50 tons a week right now in Reno and ramping to 150 with all of that reclaimed material going directly back into our cathode supply chain. So we're looking at the beginning and end of life needs here.
Yeah.
And that's true. Since Reno, we built Gigafactory, we started doing that with batteries. But as we built newer factories or vehicles, for example, Giga Texas here, where we are today, recycles all of its non-yielded or scrap aluminum from the stamping shop directly into the casting shop. We regrind any plastic that goes out. And so we're really concerned about raw materials, not just mining them and consuming them, but when we get them in the door, using all 100% of them.
Yeah, Lars, that's a great point. So we're installing sort of melt furnaces for aluminum, for the Model Y that we build here at Giga Texas has both a front and a rear body casting. So we're casting almost 2/3 of the body, and then it's high pressure die cast aluminum, so we can take both scrap from the casting machine and the gating that comes out and put that just really toss that back into the aluminum melting pot, and then, as Lars was saying, also take any stampings and any other aluminum scrap and also throw that in the melting pot. And in fact, we've also figured out that we can use wheels from practically any car.
Take your wheels.
Yeah. So we're going to be recycling the cast aluminum wheels from legacy gasoline cars as well, and throwing that in the melting pot for our aluminum cast body of Model Y, and also we'll be moving to the sort of cast front and rear body, in all vehicles over time. Well, actually, maybe not SX, but 3Y.
Thank you. At what rate do you expect Berlin and Austin to ramp relative to Shanghai? Are you able to leverage learnings from Shanghai, or are the processes substantially different in the new factories?
Ramp production faster than Shanghai because we have learned a lot, and we've now been through we have basically veteran teams that have seen the 3Y ramp, the Y ramp especially, in multiple locations, and we're obviously sharing what we've learned, and so we don't want to get complacent or entitled, but this should be a faster ramp because we have learned more, and we've done a lot to simplify the production process of Model Y. That should lead us to a faster ramp in Texas and Berlin. Yeah.
We also have, because structural and casting, about 30% less robots. We expect to almost double the capacity for body, for example, reducing the number of robots, but doubling our capacity in a lot of areas.
Yeah, right. The body line for the structural pack is, and if you go structural pack and front and rear castings, the body shop is well, its body shop size drops by over 60% relative to the standard way of making a car.
And that taps into general assembly and everything else because when we have the structural battery, the floor is the battery. We put the seats on the battery and then we put that in the car. So there's actually like between 10 and 15% less stations in GA because of the general assembly start. Because of it as well. So really, it's like I think about this in the way that we think about cars. If you're waiting for the best Tesla, you're going to be waiting forever. If you're waiting for our best factory, you're also going to be waiting forever because every new factory is better than the last one because we take all that learning and we throw it into.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is, at Cyber Rodeo, Elon mentioned that a futuristic driverless robotaxi vehicle is on the roadmap. When can we expect more details on the product offering to be unveiled? Is this something that people can own, or will this be only offered by Tesla as a service?
So I think we want to hold off on, we don't want to jump the gun on an exciting product announcement too much. So I think we'll aim to maybe do a product event for robotaxi next year and get into more detail. But we are aiming for volume production in 2024.
All right. And maybe the last question from investors is, what is the current run rate of 4680 cell production at Fremont and at Giga Texas? What do you expect run rates of 4680 to be in Fremont, at Giga Texas, or Berlin at the end of the year?
Well, Berlin is using the 2170 non-structural pack, so they're not constrained by 4680. They will transition to 4680 hopefully later this year, but current Berlin production does not require that. We also have, just as a risk mitigation, 2170 non-structural pack capability here at Giga Texas as well. But if things go according to plan, we will be in volume production with 4680, and sometime perhaps towards the end of the third quarter and certainly in the fourth quarter. That's accurate? True.
Yeah, and the other thing I would add is, like, with the China COVID shutdown and the semiconductor bottlenecks we had through Q4 and a little bit in Q1, we have sizable cell inventory at the moment and excess cells to support the 2022 volume targets you described. So that gives us the ability to be pretty deliberate in the 4680 ramp, where we can maximize the learning step by step, take engineering downtime to upgrade key pieces of equipment and modify the structural pack design to improve reliability, all while achieving what you just said. So
yeah, if 4680 output is not a risk to achieving 1.5 million vehicles produced this year, but it would become a risk next year if we do not solve volume production by early 2023, but we're highly confident of doing so.
Thank you very much. Let's go to analyst questions now. The first question comes from Dan Levi from CSFB. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for taking the questions. First, maybe you can just talk through or address what some of the drivers of cost improvement were in the quarter. Was it just further improvements within Shanghai and Fremont? Anything around sort of ongoing Kaizen that you've talked about in the past? Maybe you could just talk through what you benefited from in the first quarter.
Sure. I mean, at a high level, cars produced in Shanghai do carry a lower cost structure than cars produced in Fremont. And so as our mix of cars shift towards Shanghai, the average cost is positively impacted by that. We're also seeing some progress in manufacturing efficiencies in Fremont, particularly on the S&X side, as volume improves there. Expedites has been a huge story for the company. Q4, we had massive amounts of expedites. Q1 was still quite large, but we did make progress bringing that down some.
To mention, kudos to the Fremont manufacturing team and our associates there, because we're achieving record output at Fremont.
Yeah, Yeah, the Fremont team is doing a tremendous job.
Really
Absolutely.
Back quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, uh,
It's hard to underweight. Like you should, the expedite situation with the crazy logistics that occurred with COVID. I mean,
yeah, and you know, to Elon's point, you know, the Fremont team and also the Shanghai team has been extremely dynamic with the unpredictable nature of our part arrivals, and our supply chain team, in particular, production planning portion of supply chain. We often get very little notice when there's part shortages coming, and it's kind of a scramble a couple days before that part is supposed to arrive to figure out how to get it here. And so the amount of Herculean effort that goes in to produce a quarter like Q1, and even the quarters before that, is absolutely immense. And so,
I mean, it's like there's a saying in the military, you know, it's like amateurs talk about tactics, professionals talk about logistics when it comes to war.
yeah. You know, so there were some inherent cost improvements, as I mentioned, but, you know, there's also offsets that we've talked about previously on raw materials, commodities. Outbound logistics continues to remain a challenge, despite a ton of efforts to increase capacity there and bring those costs down.
Great.
And do you have a follow-up? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Second question, you know, one of the initial goals of Model 3 way back when was to have an EV that was affordable for a wide portion of the market. And, you know, we know prices are much higher now, just given the supply constraints. Prices are higher for all other automakers. We know that there's inflation that you're battling through, and some of that needs to be passed through to the price of the vehicles. And you're going to be supply constrained for the foreseeable future. So it's sort of a moot point. But given the goal long-term of making EVs more widely available to the masses over time, how do you look at the progression of prices over time?
We absolutely want to make EVs as affordable as possible. It's been very difficult with the, you know, I mean, I think inflation is at like a 40 or 50-year high. And I think the official numbers actually understate the true magnitude of inflation. So, and that inflation appears to be likely to continue for at least the remainder of this year. Is what you know. When we're talking to suppliers, the suppliers are under severe cost pressure. So, yeah. You know, and in some cases, we're seeing suppliers request 20 to 30% cost increases for parts from last year to the end of the to the end of this year. So there's a lot of cost pressure there. That's why we raised our prices, because when things are this uncertain with respect to inflation, if you know it's high, then we've got orders that go out a year or more in some cases, then we have to anticipate those cost increases. But I think especially with the robotaxi and autonomy, I think we will end up providing consumers with by far the lowest cost per mile of transport that they've ever experienced. Yeah, I mean, you know, with the robotaxi, like maybe 5 to 10 times lower cost per mile, it's really quite substantial.
Therefore accessible to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, looking at some of our projections, it would appear that a robotaxi ride will cost less than a bus ticket, a subsidized bus ticket, or subsidized subway ticket.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the next question from Rod Latch from Wolfe Research.
Hi, everybody. I'm trying to just parse out your comments about the inflation and constrained supply and battery feedstocks and the initiatives that you are working on internally to secure these materials. It sounds like you're optimistic about Tesla's ability to solve this for Tesla. Do you see this as a constraint on EV adoption more broadly?
Yeah, absolutely. The what's sort of keeping our costs down, at least in the short term, is that we have long-term contracts with suppliers, but those long-term contracts will obviously run out, and then we'll start to see potentially significant cost increases. But at a macro, sort of looking at the world as a whole and saying, okay, what does it take for Earth to transition to sustainable energy faster? It's fundamentally the fundamental limiting factor is the output of the cell, basically cell output. At what rate can lithium-ion cells increase the gigawatt hours per year? That is the fundamental limiting factor.
We got golfer $2,512.
In order, and that will move as fast as the slowest, least lucky element of the whole supply chain. Currently, we see that as being a challenge with lithium. And it's not that, to be clear, it's not that there's a shortage of lithium ore in the world. Lithium is present almost everywhere. It's a very common element. However, you still need to dig up the ore, dig up basically the spodumene or whatever the clay with the lithium, and then you need to go through a whole series of refinement steps, and that's a lot of industrial equipment that's needed to refine lithium ore to lithium that can be used as lithium hydroxide or lithium carbonate in the battery cell. So we think we're going to need to help the industry on this front. But the industry is growing fast, and I'd certainly encourage entrepreneurs out there who are looking for opportunities to get into the lithium business. The lithium margins right now are practically software margins. I mean, I think it's something. Literally, I think there's a. I mean, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're seeing cases where the spot lithium price is 10 times higher than the cost of extraction. So not like we're talking 90% margins here. Can more people please get into the lithium business? Do you like minting money? Well, the lithium business is for you.
So interesting. So I guess we'll stay tuned to see what happens from that. My second question is, it's impressive to see just a modest increase in cost per vehicle, cost of goods sold per vehicle, given what we've seen in terms of commodities, actually. And from here, you have a lot of savings opportunities with 4680 cells and the cell manufacturing changes, the anode chemistry, structural packs, gigacastings. Are you suggesting that even those may not be sufficient to offset the inflation that you're seeing, and that you're going to need additional pricing as well, in addition to those specific initiatives that you've called out?
Well, we hope we don't need to increase the pricing further. The current pricing is anticipating what we think is the probable growth in costs. And if that growth in cost does not materialize, we actually may slightly reduce prices. So we don't currently anticipate making significant price increases. But obviously we don't control the macroeconomic environment. If governments keep printing vast amounts of money, and if there are not significant increases in lithium extraction and refinement and the other raw materials, such that everyone's competing for a limited amount of raw materials, then obviously that will drive prices to high levels. So if you have a crystal ball that can tell us what the future is going to be like, we'll adjust accordingly. But the current prices are what we the current prices are for a vehicle delivered in the future, like 6 to 12 months from now. So this is our best guess.
But I think if you zoom out, right, like, as you said, our mission is to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. So like, we are working with our existing suppliers and others to figure out how to grow all of these raw materials as quickly as possible to not slow down the transition.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether that means we have to get directly involved in some cases or not comes down to the counterparty and their willingness to expand at the rate we think they should be able to expand. And that's similar to what we've done with everything else. Like, we built a gigafactory in Reno because it needed to be done.
Yeah.
And so, like, we will do what needs to be done to not slow down the transition. And affordability is a goal, because if it's unaffordable, it's going to retard the growth of what is inherently a good thing. So we can't have that as an outcome.
Thank you. The next question comes from Pierre Ferragu from New Street Research.
Thanks. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Great. I'd like to ask you some questions about free cash flow. Do you so first, maybe in the long run, Elon, if you look at your performance and your growth model and your growth ambitions, I did the math very quick, and I see you guys sitting on $400 or maybe $500 billion of cash at the end of the decade. And I was wondering if it's something you have given some thoughts about.
But that might be like, you know, if inflation keeps going crazy, $500 billion might be like, you know, $20 billion today. I don't know. So, you know, we'll see what $500 billion buys you in, you know, in a decade, but it might be a lot less. So I don't know if we'll, that seems like a lot of cash. I don't know. We'll try to do something useful with it. I mean, Jack, I don't know. It's not a really high-class problem, that's for sure.
The way we've been, I think we have to take this one step at a time. And so, you know, we have investments that are happening right now to get Austin and Berlin up and running. And then, as Elon mentioned, installing capacity for robotaxi production. And, you know, there's some decisions that, as Elon alluded to, just, you know, to share in the future about what the economic model looks like. What the economic model looks like for robotaxi. And so, you know, the way Elon and I have discussed this is...
Sorry. Let's just, maybe just, yeah, everyone just mute if you're...
Yeah, so our focus is, you know, to get to the point where robotaxis are on the road, Optimus is in use, get the economic model for that dialed in, and then evaluate, you know, the size of cash flows at that point and make decisions then as to what's next.
Okay, Pierre, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes.
Sorry, I think it
Okay. Let's move on.
All right. Let's go to the next one. The next question comes from Trip Chowdhury from Global Equity Research.
Thank you. Two questions I have. First is regarding the Cybertruck. And I was wondering, like, in terms of number of parts, how would Cybertruck compare with a traditional pickup truck in terms of number of parts? The second question I have is on Gigafactory Nevada Sparks. Will we have any production of vehicles in that factory, or all the future production will happen in Giga Austin? Thank you.
I'm not sure if we've actually done a comparison of Cybertruck parts versus regular truck parts. I mean, Lars?
Yeah, I mean, like if you want to go down to, like, depends on what you kind of part, like, we still have cells and they're, you know, still 1,000 cells. But, like, if we
that shouldn't count.
If we don't count that, like, the simplicity of our structure is significant versus a traditional pickup truck or any other vehicle. Like, as we've talked about, their giga castings, we save hundreds of damn parts there.
I mean, the entire rear kind of half of the car is one casting.
And even still with the Cybertruck and the doors, for example, we have an exoskeleton design where the door is ready to take, and it takes all the side load from impact. So we really have, like, we don't have the door reinforcements, we don't have the crash and shooting beams. So, like, to your point, I haven't counted them because I don't often look back at old technologies to decide how well I'm doing. I check that once in a while, but in general, our architecture is always moving to reduce complexity, reduce parts, and reduce parts count. I would say, ignoring the battery cells, we were probably 20 to 30% less.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to the next.
Nevada. Oh, Nevada. Oh, do we expect to expand? Yeah, we do expect to expand Giga Nevada. There's a lot of room for expansion there, and we do expect to increase output from Nevada. But the by far the biggest increase in output will be from Giga Texas.
Thank you very much. The next question comes from Alex Potter from Piper Sandler. Alex, can you hear us?
Yes. Hi, Martin. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. So first question I had was the extent to which other plants outside of China are insulated from any further upstream supply bottlenecks that we may have in China. Obviously, if this COVID lockdown thing gets out of hand, clearly that's going to continue impacting Shanghai. But is there a point at which it could actually also impact other facilities?
Yeah, if it were to continue, but there are some parts that are sourced in China that apply worldwide, and that would impact production elsewhere. But all indications are that we're out. Giga Shanghai is back in production at fairly high levels already, and so are our suppliers. So we don't think this is going to be a big deal.
Okay, thanks. Second question. Obviously, the higher profitability that you guys have been able to experience over the last couple of quarters, a lot of that is reflecting sort of quote unquote real improvements. Another